Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Bachakorash. And double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. Shalom to the hopeful like this out there, listening, learning, and or teaching. Shalom. All right, so today I want to go into Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Through the spirit and just kind of, just go into it. All right, so with that, let's jump right in. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness." Who is the righteous man? That's the elect of Israel. Okay, it says we will stand in great boldness because we're out here bringing this truth out on the highways and byways, in Esau's face, telling him that he's the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, telling our people that they are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right, or speaking to those people, telling them that they are who? The Israelites of the Bible. You see? All right, and that's why we got that 12 tribes chart, so you can see who you are according to your nationality on your father's side, as the scriptures say. All right, it says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as has afflicted him and made no account of his labors." You see, because we've been getting afflicted since the beginning, man, of coming over here to America. All right, we came on those slave ships, right? The Southern Kingdom, all right? Northern Kingdom was already here. They had their land stolen, right? They were also forced into servitude. All right, this is Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 68th verse. It says, "And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." Right? So we were sold into slavery. All right? Esau has been oppressing us, and he doesn't give us any credit. He doesn't give us, what we rightfully deserve for that labor, man. Not even a hint of reparations, man. All right? Which we don't care about reparations, all right? Because Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua is going to give us something better than that, all right? And that's revenge for what these devils have done, okay? And we're going to go into that here in verse 2. It says, "When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear." All right, well, who shall see it, all right? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all right? And all these nations, really, okay? But the elite of Esau, especially, they're going to see it. All right. And what does it say? "When they shall see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. It shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for." So what these Edomites are going to see is the so-called UFOs, the chariots of Israel coming to save the children of Israel, the elect. All right, namely the elect. All right, starting with the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Those will be the ones who get saved out of here. Okay, and they're gonna be troubled with terrible fear, man. All right. At verse 3, it says, "And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, This was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach." All right, what is a proverb of reproach? All right, that's a byword like nigga, spick, wetback. Okay, that's what they call us. Okay, and we're the ass of every joke. All right, and if you read Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that's one of the curses that will fall on us, is we will be a byword and a proverb. All right. They used to call us 3/5 of a man. Okay, look at this picture right here. 3/5 compromise. In order to determine the population of a state, only 3 out of every 5 slaves would be counted. And who were the slaves? The so-called Negroes. Okay, this is going back to the time of slavery here in America. All right, seeing how these Edomites, they call us a byword. They look at us like we ain't shit. All right, but they're gonna see that they were fucking wrong the whole time about us, man. All right, this whole white supremacy is on its way out the door, along with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and his kingdom and his rulership and his world. Okay, this is verse 4. It says, "We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor." All right, yeah, they didn't think shit of us. All right, look at these. We're the ass of every joke. These Edomites out here making jokes about us. All right, if you go on X.com, every time there's a Jake, videotaped committing some type of crime, you look at the comment section, it's filled with nothing but Edomites saying, "Oh, what do you expect of these people? Oh, that's all they know how to do. Oh, these N-words this, these N-words that." And same thing when you see the so-called Latinos getting deported, they always saying in the comments, like, "Well, you're here illegally, you bunch of criminals and gang members." So they made Jake the face of crime. They made Jake the ass of every joke. They don't think shit of us. They don't respect us, man. And ultimately, we can't do anything about it because we don't have any power in our hands. For now, because we're still under the curses, under the punishment that the Lord has put on us. Because why? We went off. We started worshiping idols. Okay. All right. But this captivity is coming to an end, man. The Lord has preserved a remnant. Okay, who will not worship idols, a remnant who will not live according to the ways of Esau, all right, but a remnant who will live according to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and his word, what we've been commanded, all right, keeping the faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and rehearsing the righteous acts, right? We keep the law to the best of our ability, even though our righteousness is as filthy rags, all right. The Lord sees our faith. Okay, we wouldn't be doing these things if we didn't have faith. All right, but let's read this here, verse 4. We're gonna read that one more time. "We fools accounted his life madness." Right? They see us on the highways and byways, and they might think we're just crazy. They might see these videos and say, that's pointless. These guys, their life is just a joke. Okay. "And his end to be without honor." Verse 5, "How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints." Right? So Esau, even the so-called white man, these same people that think we ain't shit, they're going to be deeply confounded. All right? And they're going to be basically within themselves saying it like, "Oh man, we really fucked up. We were wrong. God damn, those people, those are the greatest people of all. Those are the sons of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai." And I'm gonna get a precept to this. The reading right here. We're gonna go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, and we're gonna start reading from verse 1. It says, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery." Right? Who's the unwise? Is talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right? And they look at us like we seem to die, and like our life was just misery and pointless. All right? Verse 3, "And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace." Right? So, they make fun of us. They see our people getting gunned down on the street, okay, making jokes about them. And they make the same jokes about the hopeful elect. All right? Even though they see there's something different about us, we're not just like the other YNs out there and spicks and wetbacks. All right? But even us, they will look at us, Lord's will I be of the elect. They look at us like, we're just living a life of madness, of pointlessness. And they look at it to be like it says here, Salakia. Their departure is taken for misery, right? Like it's just a miserable life and pointless. Verse 3, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. Verse 4, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. Right? We can have people come up to the camp and talk shit about us, say all manner of evil about us for Yahweh's sake. All right? We get punished in this world at our plantation jobs. We might lose our jobs. We might end up in a bad predicament, bad situation. We might end up being put to death for this truth. All right? But in the end, our hope is full of immortality, man, because we know the promises of the Bible are for us and us only, man. Us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Okay? And it starts with who? The elect, man. And we're the ones fighting for that position. Like Paul said, when you fight, you got to fight not as one that beats the air, man. Okay, so the hopeful elect is out here fighting for that position, man. And it's going to be an incredible day when it finally happens and Yahushua returns. These international banking families, these Edomites mainly, are going to be perplexed. All right, they never would have believed that it was actually true, that we were the Israelites all along, man. I mean, they know it, but to actually see it for themselves, that's what's going to make them realize that they were fucking wrong the whole time, man. That they're the ones who aren't shit. They're the ones who are 3/5 of a man, okay? And really, they're less than that, man. The scripture says the nations, the abundance of them is a drop of water. What is a drop of water to a bucket? 1/1,000,000th of a man? You do the math. All right? But back in Wisdom of Solomon 3 and verse 5, it says, and having been a little chastised, right? Because we going through those fiery trials, tribulations, right? It says, they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. That's right, because the Lord, like the scriptures say, those who have given up, let me get that real quick. Just a quick precept here. This is Matthew chapter 19, verse 29. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. You see? So the Lord will greatly reward his elect, man. Okay? Because the hopeful elect, we had to give up a lot of things to be in this truth. Women, property, we forewent the pursuit of riches, okay, which a lot of the people are 2/3 of our people, a lot of them are stuck in that rat race, man. You see? So the Lord is going to give us everything that we forewent and more, man. All right? The Lord is going to reward us. It says, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever, man. You see? So Yahushua is going to return and give us everlasting life, the new bodies, that new covenant's going to be established so that we, and implemented so that we'll never go off again. And what does Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15 tell you? All the blessings that come with that. All right, being the head and not the tail, man. Ruling over all nations. All right, with a rod of iron, man, breaking them to pieces. All right, having dominion, having true wealth. All right, We governing the world, not Edomites. These so-called white people that don't know how to rule shit. They can't even rule their own spirit, man. Bunch of moles and weirdos. Okay? Like the scriptures say, the wicked go off from the womb, right? Roughly paraphrasing. That's Psalms 58. Let me get that real quick. Bear with me. This is Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. Who's the wicked? Is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. You see, from the moment they born, they already lying. Okay, they already wicked. Okay. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf otter that stoppeth her ear. That's the spirit, the Edomite spirit that was in, the serpent in the garden. Okay? That's why the scripture compares these devils to snakes. All right? Because that's what they are. They're liars. They're sneaky deceivers, man. Look at all the psyops they're doing. Look at how they're setting up, the Israelites to get destroyed. Okay? Look at Chicago. Look at this ICE raids. Okay, they setting up the chaos in order to do what? To bring order. What type of order? That new world order, where the chip that goes in your hand or the chip that goes in your brain, that's the MOTB, that's going to be mandated for buying and selling. Okay, and what are they going to do to you jakes? All right, they're going to go ahead and revert you back to being slaves, just like in the old days, man. But this time you're going to be even more of a slave, because you're going to have that chip inside you. So they'll be able to control your mind to a large extent, man. Your actions everywhere. You won't need a slave master looking over your shoulder. All right, that chip is going to be your slave master, man. All right, so you Israelites out there, don't take that chip, man. All right, because it's not Esau you got to fear. Okay, because once that chip is, if you get that shit inserted in you, all right, the one you're going to learn how to fear is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, because he's coming back with fire and with his chariots to fuck up Esau, these nations, and 2/3 of you Israelites, because you wanted to join hand in hand, buddy, with your oppressor. You see? All right. All right, so back in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, and we're going to go back to verse 5. It says, how is he numbered among the children of the Most High? And his lot is among the saints. Right? Because they're going to be seeing the destruction. They're going to be seeing the salvation of the Israelites, of Yasharallah, through these chariots of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. They're going to see Yahweh Shai's gigantic chariot cover the whole sky, destroy all these armies, and our people being raised up, man. All right, and they're going to see the error of their ways, man. All right. They ain't going to be saying the N-word on that day. They ain't going to be calling us spics on that day. They're not going to be talking about how, so-called white people, we're the only ones that invented society. We're the only ones that created, the best conditions to live in. We have society, and you're all a bunch of savages, and this, that, and the third. And, go back to Africa. Go back to Mexico. They're not going to be saying that on that day, man. Rest assured. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 6. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness has not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. That's right, man, because the light represents truth. All right? See, they call themselves the Illuminati, the enlightened ones, right? And they have wisdom of this world. All right? But the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding comes from the scriptures, and they didn't have that. So they're going to lose in the end, man. Yeah, sure, they got their little riches on this side. They have this generational wealth. They've had their foot on our necks for a long time. All right, but ultimately their kingdom was vanity, pointless. All right, and the Lord is exposing Esau worldwide, man. You got other Edomites exposing Esau at this point. All right, and it's becoming common knowledge now that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites of the Bible. And it's becoming common knowledge that Esau, Edom, a so-called white man, is the most corrupt nation on the earth. Hell, you got China, Russia, you got Venezuela, you got all these other countries. Hell, I just heard Africa made their own version of the internet to get away from America, to not rely on America. They're slowly separating themselves and their economies and their infrastructure. Why? Because once this place gets destroyed, you know, it's in the thought of these other nations for them to be their own superpowers and not have to deal with America. Although we know, according to the scriptures, we got next, Israel. So there's not going to be a superpower once America goes down. The superpower will be us, Yasharallah. Okay, but the point is that these other nations, you know, they want to get away from America. They don't want to rely on it in any way because their plan ultimately is to destroy it. And it's not their plan. It's the plan of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which he has ordained from the beginning, as the scriptures say. Okay? Verse 7. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way. But as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it. That's right, because the scriptures were only given to the Israelites. The true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this Bible is only in the hands of the Israelites, man. And not even all the Israelites, man. On this side, the elect. Okay? And ultimately, on the other side, the rest of the nation of Israel, when the Lord brings them back in their right mind. All right? But yeah, man, these damn devils ain't going to be gloating and talking shit much longer, man. All right? Because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is on his way. Okay, Jacob's trouble is right there, man. It's getting ready to pop off fully. All right, as soon as this devil send, what do you call that? The National Guard over there to Chicago and you know, does what he's going to do over there, that could fully pop it off, man. Because in the midst of this shit, you got wars looming, okay, and you got the economy getting ready to breathe its last breath. Like I made that video on that yesterday, man. So yeah, stay prayed up, Yasharallah, keeping the faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. I pray that was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to finish off by giving our glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rachakurash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. And Shalom. Wa Abad Babal. Shalom.